In this video, I've brought to life the real people behind the attack on Pearl Harbor, nurses, sailors, and admirals, and compared them to their portrayals in the romanticized 2001 film Pearl Harbor. Doris Miller was a mess attendant aboard the USS West Virginia when Pearl Harbor was attacked. Amid the chaos, he carried wounded sailors to safety and fired an anti-aircraft gun he'd never been trained to use. His bravery made him a national hero and the first African American to receive the Navy Cross. Franklin D. Roosevelt was the U.S. president during the attack on Pearl Harbor. His leadership united the nation and led America into World War II. His famous "A Date Which Will Live in Infamy" speech became historic. In Pearl Harbor, he is portrayed by Jon Voight, who powerfully captured Roosevelt's determination despite his battle with polio. Admiral Husband E. Kimmel commanded the U.S. Pacific Fleet when Japan attacked. Despite warnings, the fleet was caught off guard. After the attack, he was relieved of duty, but later seen as a scapegoat. In Pearl Harbor, Colm Feore portrays Kimmel, showing the weight of command and the burden of history on his shoulders. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto planned the attack on Pearl Harbor, believing it would secure Japan's dominance in the Pacific, yet he knew it might awaken a powerful enemy. In Pearl Harbor, Mako portrays Yamamoto as a disciplined strategist haunted by his own foresight. "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant." James "Jimmy" Doolittle led the daring U.S. raid on Tokyo after Pearl Harbor. His leadership and innovation inspired American morale. In Pearl Harbor, Alec Baldwin portrays Doolittle with confidence and charisma, showing the courage that turned a risky mission into one of the war's most symbolic victories. Minoru Genda, a Japanese naval officer, was one of the architects behind the Pearl Harbor attack plan. A skilled strategist and pilot, his precision made the operation possible. In Pearl Harbor, Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa plays Commander Genda, representing the meticulous planning and tactical brilliance behind Japan's surprise assault. General George C. Marshall served as U.S. Army Chief of Staff, overseeing global military coordination after the attack. Known for his calm authority, he laid the foundation for Allied success. In Pearl Harbor, Scott Wilson portrays Marshall as a steady and decisive leader, symbolizing the strategic heart of the American war effort. Frank Knox was Secretary of the Navy during the attack on Pearl Harbor. A veteran and former journalist, he immediately called for accountability and the rapid rebuilding of the Navy. Knox played a key role in mobilizing America's naval forces for the Pacific War. In Pearl Harbor, Tom Everett portrays him with a quiet sense of duty, reflecting his real-life determination to strengthen the country's defenses and support the sailors on the front lines. Captain Mervyn S. Bennion commanded the USS West Virginia and was mortally wounded during the attack on Pearl Harbor. Despite severe injuries, he refused to abandon his post and continued directing his crew, ensuring as many men as possible survived. His leadership and selflessness made him a symbol of unwavering duty. In Pearl Harbor, Peter Firth portrays Bennion's courage, capturing the stoic heroism of officers who risked and gave their lives for their men. Leetear Dorothy, Still Danner, was a Navy nurse who served heroically during the Pacific War, later surviving Japanese captivity. Her story represents the resilience of women in wartime. Admiral Chester W. Nimitz took command of the Pacific Fleet after the attack on Pearl Harbor, reorganizing forces and leading the United States to decisive victories at Midway and throughout the Pacific. His calm, strategic leadership was crucial in restoring morale and confidence after the disaster. In Pearl Harbor, Graham Beckel portrays Nimitz as a composed and determined strategist, capturing the resolve and authority that defined his command during the war. Captain Mark Pete Mitcher commanded the carrier USS Hornet and played a vital role in Doolittle's raid. Known for his calm under pressure, he was a pioneer of carrier warfare. In Pearl Harbor, Michael Seamus Wiles portrays Mitcher as a composed professional, representing the precision of America's naval aviation. Takeo Yoshikawa was a Japanese spy in Honolulu who gathered intelligence on the U.S. fleet before the attack. His reports guided Japanese pilots to their targets. In Pearl Harbor, Seth Sakai portrays Yoshikawa's cold precision, showing how information, not just firepower, shaped the outcome of December 7th. Lieutenant Zenji Abe flew in the first wave of the Pearl Harbor attack, bombing key U.S. ships. After the war, he became an advocate for peace and reconciliation. George Welch was one of the few U.S. pilots to take off during the attack, shooting down several Japanese aircraft. His bravery earned the Distinguished Service Cross. In Pearl Harbor, Ben Affleck's character Rafe McCauley was inspired by Welch, a fearless young pilot fighting against impossible odds. Kenneth Taylor also scrambled into the skies during the attack on Pearl Harbor, joining George Welch to defend against the incoming Japanese aircraft. Despite being wounded in combat, he continued to fight bravely, helping protect ships and fellow pilots. In Pearl Harbor, Josh Hartnett's character, Danny Walker, embodies Taylor's courage, determination, and loyalty, capturing the spirit of these two real pilots who faced overwhelming odds and displayed extraordinary heroism in the first critical moments of the war. Evelyn Johnson represents the real Navy nurses of Pearl Harbor, women like Annie Fox, who treated the wounded under fire. In Pearl Harbor, Kate Beckinsale portrays Evelyn as a compassionate and skilled nurse, symbolizing the courage and humanity of those who served beyond the front lines. The Navy nurses at Pearl Harbor worked heroically under fire, tending the wounded and organizing evacuations amidst chaos. In Pearl Harbor, Hammy King's character, Betty Bayer, represents their courage and calm strength, showing how these women saved countless lives during the attack. Lauren Bruner survived the inferno aboard the USS Arizona, escaping across burning oil with severe burns. Donald Stratton, also aboard the USS Arizona, survived the same explosion that nearly killed Bruner. Burned over most of his body, he endured years of recovery and later shared his story,